Hey, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week we preview and review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests from the film industry, the music industry, comedians, and of course our fellow critics and podcasters. The Nomcast is available on nomcastpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts, on the socials at nomcastpod, and is a part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dave.
And join us every Thursday for a new episode of Two Player Bros, a podcast about two guys who play way too many video games. Join me and Dave as we talk about the latest in Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and VR news, previews, and reviews. We have it all, and we play it all.
And join us every other week for Post Game, where we play through and dive deep into our favorite modern classics and new releases.
That's Two Player Bros, available every Thursday wherever you get your podcast, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Forgotten Cinema is now looking for a new co-host to join myself, Mike Field, because Mike Butler's a bitch. Croupier Revenge is coming. This is my town. You know,
Which is, I would love to do a James Bond podcast.
I'll do it right now. Cancel the other podcast.
You son of a bitch. What about all these women? These are all women, beautiful women. Where are the regular women? Let's look at Los Angeles.
Is this the movie that's going to end the show? Is going to end the podcast? Because this movie, like, I cannot tell people to watch this movie. Like, I will not. This movie is not good.
You get the hell off this podcast.
Let's take it to the limit one more time. Hey there, I'm Mike Field.
And I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast, Season 9, The Season of Summer. Each episode this season, we're highlighting a film that had a coveted summer release date, but for a variety of reasons was forgotten or straight up ignored by audiences. Whether it was because it was pitted against a tentpole film or it was given a limited release run to fill out a studio schedule. We'll discuss what we love about the movie or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, we want to hear from you. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Find us. Our podcast is available on all platforms with a backlog of 100 episodes for your listening pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Butler, let's take it to the limit one more time. So why don't you let everyone know what we're doing? And you can just dive right into that synopsis. Like we like to do.
Today we are talking about the 2006 action crime thriller Miami Vice. A case involving drug lords and murder in South Florida takes a personal turn for undercover detectives Sonny Crockett and Ricardo Tubbs. Unorthodox Crockett gets involved romantically with the Chinese-Cuban wife of a trafficker of arms and drugs, while Tubbs deals with an assault on those he loves.
Oh. That's it? That was it?
That was it.
Wow.
The other one was like crazy long.
Well,
but this is a little wrong because Isabella is not the wife of the drug lord.
She's his girlfriend or something.
Kind of.
But also we should say that this isn't just the Miami Vice that you saw in the theaters. This is actually, we're doing the Miami Vice director's cut, unrated cut,
right? Extended
edition, whatever you want to call it, that was released on Blu-ray, right? Or DVD. When did it come
and
out?
Blu-ray,
It never came out in theaters at all. So we're not doing the theatrical release.
Right.
Because I have a question about that moving forward. But we were doing the director's cut or unrated cut or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I chose it. So I assumed that question was going to come up why I chose that version. Yeah.
So runtime's 140 minutes, rated R. Production budget of $135 million, which makes sense. Release date was Friday, July 28th, 2006. So right smack in the summer. Opening weekend, it did $25 million. Domestic, 63. And then worldwide, its total was 164. Production company was Forward Pass, and I want to say that's Michael Mann's company, but I didn't look. That's my bad. Distributed by Universal Pictures. So I said it came out on the 28th of July. It went up against The Ant Bully, which is not Ants, it's The Ant Bully, and I do not remember, but I want to say Kevin James was a voice in that. Also, John Tucker Must Die, and then the limited release, the movie Scoop. I think that was a Woody Allen film.
John Tucker Must Die was also a limited release, though, right?
No, not that I read.
Oh, okay,
but it's not a. Those summer release, like The Ant Bully and John Tucker Must Die, are not really great summer releases. I mean, I know you want to put a kids movie for The Ant Bully, but that did not do well.
Oh no, John Tucker Must Die. I didn't even realize I had a wide release.
Yeah,
I was working at the theater at this point.
We all were.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it went right to DVD.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Is it interesting? It's a weird movie.
I should say that the week before, not a couple days before, which is the Wednesday, there was a Wednesday release, a limited release of Little Miss Sunshine. So we might have had that as well at the theater.
Well, I think we might have, yeah.
So the 4th of August, which is the week after, you had Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, which I like. Barnyard, The Descent, and The Night Listener. And then the week before, the 21st of July, you had Monster House, an episode that we did Butler.
Hey.
And I think we discussed on that episode for Forgotten Cinema, which was season 1, I believe, or 2. No, it was our season 2 because it was our first Forgotten Horror.
Yeah.
We said that shouldn't have been released in July. It should have been an October release.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a Halloween movie.
So you also had Lady in the Water on the 21st, My Super Ex-Girlfriend, and Clerks 2. So I must have assumed Clerks 2 was going to be really busy, or maybe Lady in the Water because that's Shyamalan. But, there we go. This is written and directed by Michael Mann. He has been nominated for an Oscar for The Insider, not just for directing, but also for producer. And I want to say it was up for Best Picture. Was it up for writing? I'm not sure. He also did Thief. That's another episode we did. And
Collateral, one of my favorite movies.
One of his favorite movies. That's right. He also did Manhunter, Heat, and more recently Black Cat. He's also written Public Enemies, The Last Mohicans, and Straight Time. This is based on the TV show that starred, obviously, Don Johnson and I'm blanking on his name. I don't know. Philip.
You got this.
I don't know.
Philip Michael Thompson.
Okay.
Thomas.
Damn it. I knew that. Okay. That was created by Anthony Yerkovich, and he is a big time TV guy. You probably know him more like from Hill Street Blues, maybe. That's one of the shows he did.
Michael Mann was also a producer on Miami Vice.
He was. Michael Mann, yeah, he helped develop the show, and then I guess Jamie Foxx mentioned to him at a party, hey, we should do this, and that's what happened. Anyways, cinematography by Dion Beebe. He won an Oscar for Memoirs of a Geisha. He was nominated for the movie Chicago. He's also did 13 Hours and the upcoming The Little Mermaid, the live action one. Composer is John Murphy. He does Snatch, Sunshine, and the Suicide Squad, the new one that's coming out. Edited by William Goldberg and Paul Rubel. Goldberg has won the Oscar for Argo. He also was nominated for The Imitation Game, Zero Dark 30, Seabiscuit, and The Insider.
Those are pretty good movies.
Yes. Paul Rubel was also nominated for The Insider because he obviously edited that. He also edited Collateral, Butler, and he was nominated for that. And The Fate of the Furious, which I do not know which one that is.
That was the last one that just came out.
That's the last one?
I believe so.
I thought maybe. Oh, was that by Fate? F8? Oh, I just got that. Interesting.
There you go.
Produced by Pieter. I don't know if this is Pieter or Pieter. Anyways, this is also produced by Michael Mann.
Awesome.
I just skip past the credit if I don't know it. Colin Farrell plays Sonny Crockett. I know people probably know Colin Farrell from a lot of other movies, but I'm going to give you some movies maybe you don't know from, like The Lobster, Tigerland. Obviously, the Minority Report and SWAT. I couldn't ignore those. Jamie Foxx is Ricardo Tubbs. He won an Oscar for the movie Ray. He actually won the Oscar while he was in production for this movie, which has some interesting facts moving forward. He was nominated for an Oscar for his role in Collateral. He's in Jarhead and Any Given Sunday. He plays Willie Beeman. Gong Li as Isabella. She is from Farewell, My Concubine, Memoirs of a Geisha, Curse of the Golden Flower, and the more recently Mulan movie. Naomi Harris as Trudy Joplin. She was nominated for an Oscar for her role in Moonlight. She's also Moneypenny in Skyfall Inspector, the new Moneypenny, right, Mike?
Correct.
And she's in Rampage.
She's in Pirates.
Yes, she was actually shooting Pirates the same time she was shooting this.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, I'll just get into it. She was shooting Miami Vice during the week, would leave and shoot her stuff on the weekends for Pirates.
Oh, nice.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, the pirate stuff is mostly for her character, all the soundstage stuff anyway. So,
but still, have a day off.
Yeah. Well,
good
trying to cut your teeth. You're in 2 big movies at the same time.
No, I got you.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I got you. Ciarán Hinds as FBI agent Fujima. He's from The Woman in Black, the awesome film Munich, and the TV show The Terror. Justin Theroux, which I didn't even realize he was in this movie, plays Larry Zito. He's in Wanderlust, the TV show The Leftovers, and it just came out on Apple Plus, The Mosquito Coast. He's also in a movie we just did this season,
The Baxter.
There you go. Barry Shabaka Henley as Castillo. Now, if for those who are big time Miami Vice fans from the TV show, Castillo was played by Edward James Olmos. Mm-hmm. They offered it to him and he declined. So
It would have been awesome to see him play the same character.
It would have been. I guess he just didn't want to do it. But Henley has been in The Terminal, Lord of Illusions, and Life.
Collateral.
And Collateral.
He was the jazz man, and that's one of the best scenes in the film.
There you go. John Ortiz as Jose Hierro from Fast and Furious, not the, I apologize. Silver Linings Playbook and The Drop. Elizabeth Rodriguez as Gina Calabrese. She's in Dead Presidents, Logan, and Fresh. Dominic Lombardozzi plays Stan Switek? Yeah, he plays Stan. He's in the TV show The Wire, which is an awesome TV show. He's also in A Bronx Tale and Bridge of Spies. Eddie Marsan is Nicholas. I think that's Marzan. Is Nicholas. He's in The Gentleman, Snatch, Vice, and the TV show Ray Donovan. Tom Towles. It played Coleman. He actually passed away 6 years ago. He's in the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. He's also in The Rock and House of a Thousand Corpses. And then he had a brief cameo, I guess, by John Hawkes as Alonzo. He's not really a cameo. He's in the beginning.
Yeah.
He was nominated for an Oscar, Winter's Bone. He's in the TV show Deadwood and the movie Secessions. And so the guy who plays Montoya, Luis Tosar, you know what movie he's in?
No.
He's in the movie The Vault. And the reason why I bring that up is because The Vault is on row 8. Go watch it now.
Who does he play in The Vault?
I have no idea. I have no idea. All right. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, because maybe I'm wrong, but my recollection of the theatrical version of this movie has scenes where they are having gunfights in not this kind of shipyard, but a bigger shipyard where it's lit brighter and there's bigger shots, there's wider shots, and there's almost like they're in like I don't know why, like they're in like a Navy shipyard or something like that. Like I have a completely different.
Do you have the image of a big white ship and then there's an overarching crane with like 4 big lights coming down?
Yeah.
I had the same image in my head.
Am I wrong? Is that from the theatrical?
I don't know, because although the setup is different, some of the shootout remains the same.
But it's dirtier. It's darker.
It's dirtier and it's darker for sure.
So and here's the thing with the end of the film is that the end of the film was actually supposed to be in, I want to say it was supposed to be in the Dominican Republic. Is that right? Or Paraguay? It was supposed to be somewhere else. It was supposed to be Ciudad de Este, where they shot, or where they were filming in Paraguay. Mm-hmm. But so I'll get into it. Because I hate doing backgrounds on movies where they talk about people who are trouble to work with, because you don't know where these stories come from. You don't know if they're legit, but This is the note I have, and then we'll go through it and figure out if we believe it or not. So during production, Jamie Foxx won an Oscar for his role in Ray. He comes back, and I guess he starts making demands. He was already being paid less than Colin Farrell, so he demanded a raise, and they ended up cutting Colin Farrell's salary. So they basically. Farrell they cut his salary. That's the thing. He refused to fly commercially, so he forced Universal to provide a private jet. He wouldn't be in any scenes on boats or planes, but he is on a scene on a boat, so that might be before that. We might just take that note out the window. And while they were filming in the Dominican Republic, there were gunshots were fired and that halted production. He straight up just leaves the country after that, packs up and leaves, and refuses to work outside of the United States. So Mann had to rewrite the entire ending of the movie to put it where they were. Now, again, who knows, when you hear stories like this,
right?
I mean, I understand that Hollywood's a bit hypocritical and there's a lot of stuff that you have to do. And, a lot of people treat you if you're not a commodity. Winning an Oscar definitely puts you in the different stratosphere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Demands. And if he felt that he was making concessions, I'm talking about Jamie Foxx, making concessions to be in this movie, and he wasn't happy with it, and he then had leverage, I understand saying, hey, screw you. You can fly me private. I understand that. I just think when you make a commitment to something, you just do it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. But for your next film, start making demands.
Yeah. But again, take this with a grain of salt, because you don't know who writes this note, and it's only one side of the story. So I don't want to, I don't want this to us being viewed negatively on Jamie Foxx, because I think he's really good in the movie. I actually really liked this movie in terms of its style. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, but I just want to put that note because the whole ending changed. So the whole ending was rewritten to be where they were.
Right.
So whatever we thought or whatever we saw, maybe that was part of that he just basically cut out for the unrated version
to try to make it more cohesive.
But I'm glad you thought. Yeah, I'm glad you thought about. You had that image in your head.
That was the image I had in my head. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a lot of the shootouts the same, but yeah, that image in my head, or that brightness and that cargo container, absolutely.
I mean, so at the end of the movie, they actually play the song "In the Air Tonight," right? Is it called "In the Air Tonight"?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a remix. It's not. It's
by Nonpoint, the band Nonpoint.
But that was not in the theatrical movie.
No, they had no In the Air Tonight.
But I love it in this film.
It needs to be in this film. The thing that made Miami Vice, the pilot, stand out and why everybody started watching Miami Vice was the show had so much style and had popular music and really introduced the concept of TV shows and episodes introducing you to new artists.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight was a big part of that because they drive up to the last shootout in that pilot episode to In the Air Tonight playing.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Mann even said when the movie was released to kind of mediocre reviews, he said he missed the ball on that. That was one of the things people pointed out is you have this build up to this final fight and you don't play the most iconic song in the TV show that you based on. He goes, "Oh, I know, I messed up."
He messed up, but he also people wanted to know if they wanted the original theme song in the movie. He straight up refused. He said, "No, absolutely not. No, I don't want the theme song." It's like, why not? You can't just do a remix. A whole movie.
You could do an orchestral kind of reach.
You couldn't have Moby do it or something because I know he's all over the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, he's at the end of it.
Yeah, I didn't. There's a huge amount of style in this movie. It's pretty much 85% style, and I have no problem with that.
Right.
So I don't really view what I'm about to say as a negative, but like I have no idea about the backstories of Crockett and Tubbs in terms of them as characters.
Yeah, I think the movie kind of misses the mark. I mean, I think that Michael Mann wanted to tell a story and really work on exploring undercover work and the drug trade and how it works between Miami and, you know, South Central America and stuff like that. And I think that he just used Miami Vice as an excuse to get that movie made.
Maybe, almost. Yeah.
So you kind of do lose a lot of who Crockett and Tubbs are. And you do lose. And I think this is something that Colin Farrell has said in interviews after the movie was released, that there's not a lot of a friendship between the two characters. You don't get that connection that you need for a movie like this.
They talk at each other a lot.
Yeah.
Which I dig the dialogue, but they do just talk like they don't have a conversation almost.
Right. The dialogue's really realistic, but it would be fine for a sequel, but you need to establish that shorthand beforehand.
Sure.
You got to establish who they are and why they are the way they are and how great of partners you are, which you only kind of get hearsay about how great they are.
Right. And I'm glad that it's not not a prequel, but like an origin story. Yeah, I didn't want that.
I didn't need an origin story, but a little bit more about them, a little bit more of them together, because you separate them pretty early on in the movie.
Yeah.
And they don't really get together until the shootout where they're just shooting perpendicular to each other.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't have a lot of scenes where it's them together. I didn't realize there was a crew. Like I didn't realize there was not just them two, but it was them and like 4 or 5 other people.
Well, that's how in the show, these characters, all the, like Trudy, Sitwell, all them, they're all part of the Miami Vice squad. They don't usually work together. They're partners with each other.
Right. But it's made it seem like sometimes they were a team.
Do. Yeah. Sometimes they have to work together with their undercover identities and stuff.
So but also I didn't remember from the theatrical cut if they were in as much as they were in this. You know what I mean?
I think that it's about this. I think there's a lot more Trudy stuff in the unrated director's cut this time.
Yeah, I don't remember them going at the going after the trailer, going to get her out of the trailer when she's kidnapped.
Oh, that's in there.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just don't remember a lot of theatrical cut. The other thing, but I want to go back to what you were talking about with Sonny and Tubbs, is that he falls in love with Isabella, which is the Montoya's woman,
which I hate, but yeah.
Well, I don't. Well, my problem with that is I don't know enough about Sonny to understand why he would fall in love with her.
It doesn't make any sense if you don't get any kind of sense of, oh, I guess she's hot, so he keeps looking at her, and then like he falls for her. I do think the unrated cut does a little bit better at giving you more scenes, all that Cuba stuff. You get a lot more Isabella and Crockett than you did in the theatrical. Okay. A lot more.
Right.
And I do think that fleshes it out, because my original note as soon as it started, when they get on the boat together, was this is the worst part of the movie. This slows it down and makes it a standstill. Which
when they're actually on the boat and
anything between him and Isabella, I don't think that plot was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But the unrated cut does do a little bit better of a job showing them falling for each other, even if it's unrealistic and doesn't make much sense.
And you get the sense, but here's the thing. It's not like Montoya already knows, because he assumes that she's sleeping with him to
Get information.
So he has no problem. And then, they fall in love, and this is not just casual.
That's the line. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You're openly dancing in a club that is monitored, and you have no qualms to hide how you feel about each other. You don't think that's going to blow back on you?
Well, I think she assumes that he needs her, so she's safe. And then it turns out she's clearly not safe. But it takes up until, was it Luis or no? Euro finds out that they're cops, or at least they're not who they say they are.
Right. No,
he's not sure that they're cops yet, but
she's betraying Montoya,
by
this isn't casual. So
Crocket,
yeah.
I'm not. See, this is the thing is, when I picked this movie, I really like this movie, but I know that this movie has a lot of flaws. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, a lot of it had to be rewritten on the spot. Obviously, Jamie Foxx thing, maybe. But also, I know that the hurricane blew through there. And
they had 3 hurricanes.
Yeah, destroyed production and delayed it. And I remember reading online all the time about, they had to pause production for this many months. Oh, they're back to filming and this and that. So I can see how this movie becomes it's muddled. It's not as cohesive as it could be.
Well, I guess Mann was making sudden script changes during filming.
Right.
Whatever the reason for that. He was filming in unsafe weather conditions. Now, people were complaining that he was filming in unsafe weather conditions. But I got to tell you, the shots where the storm's in the background is awesome.
Oh, no, they're so cool.
Like, those are the fact that those aren't faked is fantastic. It's awesome. It's part of the whole.
It's distinctly
atmosphere.
Miami,
yes,
for sure. And it's a version of Miami you don't usually see, including the TV show, which only showed nice sunny days in Miami.
Sure.
And, the beautiful part of Miami. This Miami is leaves and palm tree stuff's all over the ground because the wind has battered it.
Mm-hmm.
Rain, it's cloudy. When they're on the rooftop, like you're talking about, and the thunder cloud happens when he's yelling at Fujima.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's such a good shot. But also, you can totally see, if you had read about the backstory, that they're filming. Like, it must have been hell to film this and get all the stuff done. I can understand the frustration of trying to make a film and having to do all these rewrites to work around that. I've been rambling on enough. Let's stop, take a pause.
Yep.
Listen to some sponsors, and I'm going to drink some coffee while our sponsors start.
All right. I'll do it. Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to add our podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. And they were also shooting in locations that not even cops would go down. So Mann was hiring gang members to security.
That's classic Mann.
But that's the thing. Yeah, that's Michael Mann. Now, listen, to each their own. But you should know going in when you're doing a Michael Mann movie, like, what you're getting into.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I just whatever. But maybe that's why he doesn't do as much, because people just, can't handle it.
But he's going to Ciudad de Este. I mean,
buying his own bootleg. Did you see that?
I saw he bought it for $2.
Yeah, no, $12.
No, he says $2.
On the note, I said it was $12.
Oh, no, he bought it for $2.
Collateral,
yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
But that's who knows about that city? No one knows, and it's so cool, and it's such an interesting city to shoot in.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to get locals in there, and he had Homeland Security guys and some background characters just for extra protection.
Yeah,
but it's like, you got Homeland Security around you. He's paying gang members to protect you.
Yeah,
so they don't need the ransom money. You're safe.
Yeah,
you're with 100 other people.
Yeah.
Do the movie. Come on.
I don't know. That moho boat that they keep using, that sells for $500,000.
And they rigged it with all these different camera crew equipment inside. And then when they were filming the boat race at the beginning, the crew inside, including the director of photography, had to get out of the boat because it just kept jostling around, because the waves were like pre-storm. So they were just like getting seasick. So Michael Mann remained in the backseat shooting Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell from the inside. But they couldn't do any more of the outside photography inside the boat because they were just getting.
Was Fox on the inside? Because
he was on the inside. So I believe that the race stuff was filmed first.
Yeah,
because I remember being very excited about this movie, because I used to watch Miami Vice with my dad when he bought the series set on DVD. And originally, I think this was supposed to be made into a comedy movie, like a spoof. And that idea was nixed. I don't think Michael Mann was involved with that at all.
Thank God.
The studio just wanted to do that. And then, this movie was announced and the first shots of filming were a lot of the Mojo Boat stuff. So I think that was probably pre-Oscar. So he was cool with being in there. But I thought that was an interesting fact.
No,
the boat and stuff.
I have no qualms with the look of the film. I think it looks fantastic. I think Michael Mann loves his blues, which is fine. We talk about all the time about in movies, specifically in New York, how New York, a lot of the movies is one of the characters. Miami is absolutely one of the characters. Like this movie is, I would have been okay with a sequel. Like I would have been okay with a second film.
Put that this movie should have a sequel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They won't because obviously there were problems. But do you know that it earned, as of 2007, beginning of 2007, it's earned $36 million on home video rentals.
I believe that.
Yeah. This opened number one at the box office. It knocked off Pirates Dead Man's Chest, which was number one for like a month, I believe. So it kicked that out. But obviously we already went through the numbers. It didn't
hold up.
Yeah, no, but
the thing about the theatrical cut is when you're watching the theatrical cut, it's got so much cut out. A lot of the Isabella stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have it in the air tonight. A lot of it just kind of chunks along, and it's just to try to maybe get it a quicker cut because this does run a little long. This does slow down in the middle.
This was 220. What was the theatrical? 210?
I believe like just slightly over 2. Yeah.
They must have cut a bunch of stuff out if I'm remembering things that I can't. I
know they cut a bunch of Isabella stuff out. I'm pretty sure they cut some of the Trudy stuff out.
I wonder if this would have done well. I mean, I don't even know. Like we've asked this throughout the entire series of Forgotten Summer about whether this is a summer film. And I kind of think it is, but I don't know. I mean, you could make a case for it not being a summer film.
It's Miami. It's hot. It's kind of like a sexy movie, but it's also like dirty, slow, and it's definitely not an action film. So in that case, it's not really a summer film. A September film, maybe.
Yeah, there's
just
only
getting off the summer.
There's only maybe 3 action set pieces, right?
There's the sniper attack at the beginning.
Which is awesome. They blew that dude's arm off.
That is gross.
My God.
I guess they practiced to try to see what a 50 cal would actually do.
They destroyed that car.
They shot a used car to destroy it. And then they went back and they were like, all right, this is exactly how the actual car would be.
I believe it. I mean, I read all that stuff about Heat when they were doing all the
sniper shot through the chest. Did you see the heat coming off of it? The fire?
Yep.
Oof.
Now, they blew that dude's arm clear. Well, obviously it was not a real guy, but they blew that dummy dude's arm clear off.
You think they're dead enough?
No. Yeah, that's right. Because at the end, I'm like, he's dead. And then I just saw another shot. Boom. Oh my God, he's dead. But so like aside from that, the scene when they storm the trailer in the end, which the scene when the scene when they storm the trailer and at the end is kind of this right after each other. It's really just a drama. It's not really. It is. It's not really an action
drama. Yeah. Which I like. I like that. I really like the exploration of undercover work and stuff like that they do in this film. I just think that the love story kind of gets in the way. You don't get enough of Tubbs and Crocket together. And that kind of ruins what was really interesting about the film. The scenes that are really interesting are them going to Ciudad de Este and meeting, all the crew and finally having a face-to-face with Montoya and all that kind of stuff. And then it slows down with Isabella, and it's really cool when they have the stolen drugs. They recover the stolen drugs that they stole. Yeah. Because it was blamed by Haitians and all that's really interesting.
They never go back to that though.
Exactly. It's just muddled by 45 minutes worth of this story that you don't need.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that we got to have a love story in it. Wouldn't it be cool if our undercover officer had something that tempted him to go native, I guess, but he never was going to.
They rob the stash and blow up the 2 boats so that they can step in, which, I mean, don't you think that they would figure that out? That, oh, wait, 2 boats have been destroyed. Our transpo system that we've been using was destroyed. And all of a sudden I get a phone call vouching for these guys that can do transpo. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he probably had already put the word out that we need new guys.
I understand that, but like that's not on the screen. We're assuming that we're kind of figuring that out.
Well, we also know that they went in acting like Haitian gang members.
No, I get that. I'm saying that I own a computer And then I wake up one morning, my computer's destroyed. And then you were like, hey man, I got a guy who's got a computer. I'm not going to be like, well, how did he know that I need a computer? Like, I'm not going to figure that out. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, just some lip service to that. Like the whole Eddie Marzan character. What was his character's name? The snitch they used or whatever. The
guy who's
the Nicholas character.
Nicholas, yeah.
Like, he's like, if I do this and it goes down, I'm dead. Well, guess what? It's gone down. And we never go back to Nicholas. So, but my thing was,
I don't think we need to go back to him.
I'm saying, like, you've introduced a character and then we just we get rid of him. They kidnap they take the shipment. They say, hey, we found the shipment. We came back and we found this. We'll give it back to you. Oh, thanks. And then like, we don't ever kind of refer to it again. And then,
well, I think the recovering of the shipment is one of the things that really puts Euro on the edge with them.
He never liked them.
He never liked Crocket, but now I think they're too good. Like, that's like, come on, for free. You're going to give it to us for free.
And Euro dies badly, which is good. He has with a grenade launcher and with something. Like
he gets an automatic shotgun. Yeah.
Oof, right in
the chest.
Blew him up. Nice. It was nice. But Michael Mann always does gunfights well and gunplay well. And you definitely, there's a moment where they're behind the bad guys and the camera's like splattered with blood.
Oh, I love that shot. It just moves. Yeah.
And this was like the note I have is like one of the first big time movies, big studio films shot all digital. What? No, it's not. But okay, well, that's fine if you want to say that. Collateral's a big movie, so like, let's stop.
Yeah, but like you said, the inside of the club was not digital.
Yeah, give me a break.
That's kind of cheating.
Give me a break. Honestly, I think the shooting all digital really adds to the atmosphere of Miami in this movie.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not clean.
That's why he did it. He said he did Collateral all digital for the nighttime shots, and he did this all digital to show daytime in the way that it's oversaturated and kind of blown out, and a different way of looking at daytime shots if you do it all digital. You can if you don't like the movie for other reasons, that's fine. I mean, there's definitely some less than stuff going on script wise, but visually speaking, he's painting a picture on screen. Oh, absolutely.
And he's doing it well. I mean, take it for what you want, but Harmony Korine was cited this movie as a major influence for him doing Spring Breakers. And I've seen Spring Breakers. Spring Breakers is an acquired taste, and I'm okay with it, but it does have a specific look. You know what I mean? And you can definitely sense the Miami Vice influence.
Yeah, I can kind of see that now.
That's all I'm saying. Whatever you like about the movie, you don't like it, you do like it. I'm just talking about the look of it.
I also, the way this movie is edited, I think is really well done compared to the theatrical cut, which obviously they just chunked the shit out of it. Mm-hmm. But I really liked how this movie flowed, and I like how the cuts some of the cuts are pretty shocking or jarring or really well done and interesting. I really love the cut, like when Alonzo at the beginning, he's freaking out and he's calling him, and then you get that intermixed with the club scene. Mm-hmm. I think that's really well done. But then when he gets hit when he
walks in front of the truck,
I think the way that's edited and cut,
because the camera goes to the left,
you see just enough.
Well, so the camera's on them, and then they say their last line, and it just because they tell him there's no reason to go home. Right. The camera moves off to the left, and it goes up to like this, almost a skyline.
Right.
Giving you the idea that, okay, next scene. And then it goes right back to to Alonzo, and he just steps in front of a semi, just like, oh, and like, yeah. And then the stain. Oh my God. Yeah.
But then it cuts. So you don't see too much.
No.
You see just enough.
Yeah. No. You get the idea. Not great. I'm curious what you thought of giving Tubbs the love interest. I know it's critical in the movie, so that it felt, I don't know if it felt forced or I don't know what it is about it that I'm just kind of hesitant. I understand I understand Crockett's and Isabella's relationship because it influences the movie.
Right.
And I don't know why that the Tubbs Trudy relationship, I'm wondering if that is just to give Tubbs an emotional connectivity to what's going on.
I think that's there to give you a juxtaposition between Crockett and Isabella's love.
Okay.
Tubbs and Trudy is a real love. It's an okay love. It's a love that's correct and right and real. And Crocket and Isabella have to get there. So you get these kind of alternate scenes. Like you get the shower scene with Tubbs and Trudy, and it's like they're in love and they're happy and they're smiling. And then you get the very similar scene with Crocket and Isabella in Cuba. And you can see on Colin Farrell's face, I think I made a note, it's really good acting, that his face is one of, what am I doing? And then he looks at her and he smiles. But when he's hugging her, he's clearly going through some stuff going, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. And I think that's why you've got Tubbs and Trudy there to show the juxtaposition.
Well, I'm wondering if Tubbs and Trudy should be married, and they're more, because you're in this deep op,
Right.
And you know that you're up against these people that can reach you.
Oh yeah.
Why you still, wouldn't you want to just kind of like not be together so that you can not run the risk of being targeted to get after the Tubbs, which is his back. You know what I mean?
I mean, in real life, he wouldn't be paired with his girlfriend anyway.
No. But I'm saying, like, you're going into deep undercover,
right? And
you know that anyone that's around you, they're gonna target,
right?
So maybe don't live together, or don't stay together, or don't be, you know what I mean? Don't show yourselves as you're a couple, so that they won't go after you, or they won't think about going after you, or to try to get to him.
Well, I think the whole thing that they were going for this movie, and they talk about in some of the special features, talking to some of the undercover guys that Michael Mann was using to learn about this film, is that your best background also uses a lot of who you actually are.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of worrying about sneaking off to be with your girlfriend or your wife, you just have it.
You just say that she's my girlfriend,
kind
of thing.
And you have this life that's very similar. Like Sonny talks about his father trying to be in a rock band. It didn't really work out. So he ended up being a trucker that he didn't see much, is his real backstory. And you use that, and it's just you turned up to 10 or 11, Michael Mann says.
So maybe I think if they were just married, it would have been a little bit more of a juxtaposition to Farrell and Crocket and Isabella. Kind of like they are, together. They have made a commitment to each other,
right?
You know what I mean? Rather than, there's no lies there. Rather than having Crocket and Isabella's relationship where it's kind of based on lies. So maybe I just want that little extra step. But honestly, That's just me. Did you read the same note I read about Colin Farrell's preparation?
That they pumped him with an undercover op. Oh yeah.
So Fox and Farrell went on several undercover operations from a safe distance, and the cops, the officers that were helping him, said like, they were like, oh, Farrell, you do a really good job. So they had him participate in a real sting, and I guess he was scared for his life. I guess at one point he ripped open his shirt to reveal he wasn't wearing a wire, and they're like, no, you did a good job. But that night he started suffering from anxiety and insomnia. He had to call the agent in charge and say, listen, I'm freaking out here. And he had to tell him, like, oh, don't worry about it. It was all staged.
The next day
they were going to tell him the next day that it was all staged. I go, that's awesome. I'm sure Colin Farrell doesn't think that, but I thought that was great.
Oh, Colin Farrell, like in the DVD extras, he talks about it.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's great. They punked me so bad. Like, I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget. Like,
yeah.
I guess he pulled a gun. The other guy pulled the gun at one point out. Like, he didn't pull it out to point at anybody, but he pulls it out to let him know he means business. So I start freaking out, and I'm like, oh, whoa. You think I'm a cop? We ain't no cops. So he's like freaking out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is really cool. I think one of the reasons I like movies like this, and one of the reasons I like a lot of spy movies and stuff, and I don't know if I talked about this, is that, and Michael Mann mentioned it in the documentary, which is like, oh, maybe that's why I like it, is that undercover work or spy work and stuff like that is like acting where you only get one take.
Yeah.
It's like being the greatest actor of all time. And I think that's another reason I'm really drawn to these kind of films and the undercover stuff and all that. I think that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, but we also have another movie. So Tinker Tailor was this season, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It was last season.
Was it last season?
Yeah, because it wasn't a summer film. Yeah.
We also have another movie with Syrian Hines, who he's in the role, and it's like he's not even in the movie that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's in this movie way more than he
yell at him an awful lot. Like they're just like belligerent to him.
When Colin, well, at first they have a right to be. I mean, he killed Alonzo. He got Alonzo killed big time, and his wife. We gave you our CI, and 6 months later they're both dead.
Because that's the other thing. Not to cut you off, the whole idea was to find out where the leak was from. And they find it in a cool way when he's like, hey, listen, give you the ship to shore message.
Oh, yeah. It's Tuesday for the FBI, Wednesday.
Yeah, and so they figure out it's in the FBI. And that's it. That's it. We're not going to ever go back and find out who the leak was.
Well, I don't think that's not what at that point, Crockett and Tubbs were still going to get that information. But at that point, Crockett and Tubbs' mission were to get in deep with Montoya and, like they said, light it up from the inside.
Right.
Get Montoya's location, get everything about Euro's
Which they didn't do.
stuff. They didn't get Montoya, but they kind of found out where Montoya was. It's just that he was so good he vanished. Which is also realistic because, like, Montoya doesn't have connections with the army and the government like most giant drug pins. Kingpins do. But I think that was their mission. So once they identify as the FBI, their job is done at that point. Now that becomes Fujima's job is to find those FBI agents that caused that leak.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
But I do have a note at one point when Colin Farrell does snap at him the second time they meet. Go, you just want to think. It's like just out of nowhere.
Well, I think that was because of Isabella. That's why. He's
just going Nate. Like, so
I think they were trying to show you that.
Like, damn.
Yeah. Well, but you get an idea of their relationship because they're both like, I'm with you 100%, 100, but I back you play 100. Like, it's always like, there's no doubt there.
Right.
Like you said before, they're not in a lot of scenes together. You kind of want them to be in a lot of scenes together because you want that their relationship is the basis for the movie and for the TV show, obviously. But
right.
So it is kind of a little bit of missed opportunity. It was like it's trying to be an ensemble, but also a movie, a partner, buddy cop, not buddy cop, but you know what I mean? Like a partner style movie, but it's trying to do a little bit of both. It seems like this movie's trying to do a lot of everything. And like you said, just kind of it misses the mark a little bit. I'm talking just script wise. Once again, I am not talking visually. Visually, I think this movie is on par. I like the scene at the end a lot. The gunplay.
Right. It's realistic. It's gritty. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
I enjoy all that. I enjoy the look of it. I mean, I know we always ask like why you think it's forgotten. I don't know if I'm 50-50 on the summer release, so that's fine. But I think that the problems that we're talking about, which probably were exponentially bigger in the theatrical release, probably affected it.
They are. They're definitely the theatrical release made everything that is problematic with this movie worse. The Isabella storyline, which I still don't like, it still doesn't need to be there and does take away from the film, I think, isn't explored at all in the film. There are very few scenes and it doesn't make any sense. And in this, it makes a little bit more sense. You get to see them kind of fall for each other a little bit more, but it still shouldn't be in this film.
I'm wondering in the theatrical release, if they didn't have as much stuff with Isabella, what the hell is Crockett doing during the movie?
He's off with Isabella.
But they weren't having it. So
they go to Havana for mojito.
So they do it, but they don't really show too much.
I don't remember a lot of that other stuff with her aunt's house or Tia's house and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall a lot of that. I think the shower scene is still in there, but
shocker.
It's not necessary for the film. So even in this unrated cut, I feel like it shouldn't still be there, but in the theatrical cut, it makes no sense and it jumps around and it's more disjointed.
Yeah.
And this also explains a lot more of the case in general and doesn't just cut to these action shots. But I do think something wrong with this unrated cut is it is long.
Yeah.
And with that Isabella stuff, the movie slows down to a slog. And I don't think that helps.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But I still think it's an interesting movie. I think the storyline is still pretty interesting. The case that they're working on is interesting. The style, like you said, is in there.
Yeah.
It should have gotten, it could have gotten sequels.
Yeah. I mean, it's not strong on the script end, just because of a variety of things, not because the script was bad, but
things got in the way.
Right. Yeah. As things do. Sometimes when things get in the way, sometimes they break well. And sometimes you have happy accidents and, yes, everything starts with a script. And yes, you do have movies that have just fantastic scripts, but it's a misnomer to think that when even the best written movie, when it goes to the screen, that they're not making changes as they go. You know what I mean? It's just whether the changes they make work or not. Not that every, Oscar winning movie, doesn't have it has script changes. So it's just a misnomer to think that, while everything does start with a script, that doesn't mean that it is still written out as they go. They talk about in filmmaking, they talk about you write your movie three times, once in the script stage, once as director, and then once as an editor. So this just didn't, the pieces didn't fit great. it fit enough to give you something, but not enough to maybe attract more of an audience. But again, the style and the look of it is fantastic. It's everything that you know about Michael Mann within the movie.
Yes.
So there's, I never saw, I've only seen the theatrical cut once. So it's tough for me. I'm trying to go back and forth, but I would definitely recommend this movie if people are into Michael Mann. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that I would recommend any Michael Mann movie. I guess that's probably, I shouldn't really.
If you like Michael Mann, you can recommend it. If you like gritty, real police kind of drama films, this is definitely really cool. It's just the story kind of falters a little bit, but the investigation's cool. The way it's filmed is cool. The locations are cool. The fact that these are all like real, all this is real stuff going on is awesome. And the fact that because it's a Michael Mann movie, you know it's all real. You know he did his research. You know they're in it. The actual places where they're supposed to be filming and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Which is we both talked about that when we did Thief. So yeah.
One of the things that make me sad is when I was watching the special features, they show a little bit of the rap party for the movie, and Michael Mann's like thanking everybody. Goes, and the next one we're gonna go to even more exotic locations. We're gonna really like ratchet it up again. It's gonna be really, really cool. The next one's gonna be great.
Damn it.
Never got a next one.
Ridiculous. Come on. I would have been okay with the second one. We still got time. It's 2021. Let's go.
They're only 15 years old, isn't it?
Well, he's doing, we talked about it briefly before the podcast, but he's, I don't know when it's coming out, but he's doing Tokyo Vice, which is an HBO Max series that's going to take place in Tokyo, but it's supposed to be about the underbelly. But I'm all in. I'm all in there. Absolutely. I'm pretty much all in on any Michael Mann movie. I hear about it. I'm like, oh, Michael Mann. All right. Like there's probably like maybe 8 to 10 directors that if I know they've got a new movie coming out, I want to watch it.
Right.
You know, that's not a lot, but you know, he's one of them. So I guess. Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm glad you didn't not like this movie.
No, I come on. Listen.
Well, because I knew
like I'm like this. Like,
well, because I knew this one had problems, and the problems are apparent with this one. But I'm glad that you liked the same things that I enjoyed about this movie as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mike. Where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you check out your podcast. Find us there. Leave us a rating, a review, subscribe. You know, all that good stuff. You can also find us on the socials at Forgotten Cinema Pod or Forgotten Cinema Podcast, depending on where you are. We post every day of the week, including fun commercials every Thursday. So check those out. And if you're a YouTube person, we're also on YouTube. So you can check us out there as well.
So join us next week. We are Forgotten Summer rolls on. Actually, we're hitting a home stretch here. We're going to be doing the 1996 movie Lone Star, which Mike has not seen.
Nope.
Stars Matthew McConaughey and Chris Cooper as father and son, but it's told in different time periods. This is a John Sayles film. So I'm wondering if Butler will like it. It's interesting. I have not seen it in a while, but I know I liked it. But you never know. Things could change.
It's going to be another Palmetto situation?
No, it won't be. No, because I confused Palmetto with another movie, but I'm still glad we watched it. But no, I do know what this movie's about. So,
okay.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I apologize. We're going to bring up the Palmetto stuff all the time now.
No, it wasn't that bad.
All right.
It's just funny.
Folks. Okay. So
you get the hell off this podcast.
All right. So that's next week. Until then, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema. Wait, Forgotten Summer. Oh, that's terrible. But I'm keeping it. Nice. Well done.
Forgotten Summer sizzles along. Oh, that's what you should have said.
Oh, no, let's do it again. I won't do that. I'll do something else. I'll do that take a limit thing. I like that song. All right. So until then, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema. Wait, it's been Forgotten Summer. Let's take it to the limit one more time.